Dating apps and anime have nothing in common, right? Wrong. Dating and anime don't typically cross paths because... But I've recently started going through every major anime of the 2020s so I can compile a top 10 list before 2025. I also recently started dating apps, and between these two endeavors, my outlook on life has been profoundly tormented. To start with my modern anime journey, I'm being thorough, but skipping over your reborn as a vending machine, I now wander the dungeons of the world, only watching what looks at least somewhat interesting. Even still, I've dropped 7 shows in a row, demonstrating that I have no idea where to start in terms of narrowing down what might be worth it. To find a good show, you've kinda gotta give it a chance. Let it sit for a few episodes, talk to it for a few days, maybe go on a date or two. See where things go. But I've been dating 7 shows for numerous episodes each, and I have nearly nothing to show for the 14-hour chunk of my life it amounted to. I won't get too specific about these shows either, because most of these were promising, beloved series, and I'm worried you guys will legitimately think I just straight up have bad taste. I've finally become one of those grizzled anime fans you hear so much about. A high-level loser, so to speak. So after getting sick of anime, I tried my luck at the real world. Being a kinda straight man, I decided to try to find a girlfriend of all things. I've approached a lot of people IRL, and it usually ends in a somewhat pleasant interaction, but never really goes anywhere. So lately, I've been putting in the long hours from the comfort of my very own room, trying to find matches. While I'm guessing that putting aspiring anime YouTuber in your bio doesn't exactly inspire mass female arousal, I somehow have been chatting with some people, and while I hold nothing against those individuals, the experience on the whole has been pretty mid, to say the least. The same issue I'm having with searching for good 2020s anime of feeling my time is wasted, and the same frustration with not being able to tell what's really worth pursuing based on a brief profile alone, are very pronounced here too. I take no rejection from strangers personally, but something that actually stings is when you get that little glimmer of hope. When you see someone who looks so compatible and so interesting, only for them to either not match with you or just immediately seem dry and uninterested. I've had this happen a few times now, and it's uncannily similar to how I felt when I first read the plot synopsis for To Your Eternity, one of the shows I dropped a few weeks back. The story is about an immortal being, Fushi, who takes on multiple forms and freely utilizes their respective natural abilities at will, in order to further evolve and stimulate as it learns what it is to be truly human over the decades and centuries. This show that I never would have even heard of if I didn't go looking for it, immediately had potential to be one of my all-time favorites. It's interesting, it's compatible with my tastes, and because I wanted to like it so bad, I gave it more than enough episodes, but at the end of the day, it just ended up pissing me off more than anything because of a bunch of little details that are not relevant to this particular video. The same goes for Akabe's Sailor Uniform, which is one of the most visually stunning TV anime I have ever seen in my life. I wanted to be able to appreciate that show so badly, but for me personally, it contains some of the most off-putting and cringeworthy instances of fan service that I've ever seen. And I wonder how much of why I grew to resent it is because I was trying to force myself to like it and overlook this deal breaker anyway. So when I match with a cute goth girl with the same favorite Vocaloid producers as me, I get excited and I want to learn more about her. I get all pumped up just to find out that she is the most boring person I've ever talked to or encountered in my life. Now I've just learned of something I didn't even know I wanted, just to be told that it isn't real. And that's not to come off as pretentious. As a dorky male on a dating app, I don't exactly feel like a very valuable catch, because it's just as I learned from Watakoi. Well, I never really watched any of it, but just as I learned from Watakoi's title, love is hard for otaku. But love is hard for everybody in the age of the internet. Girls on Tinder are scary, and guys on Tinder are scary too. Whether you're an average dude who feels like it's impossible to get noticed, or a beautiful girl trying to sift through hundreds of horn dogs to find someone genuinely interested in getting to know you. But let's cut the BS. Why do I go so far out of my way to make all these seemingly random comparisons between online dating and seeking out good anime? Well, it's because I think they both represent the same root frustration. Beyond being time-consuming, disappointing, and somewhat depressing, they feel inauthentic. I've never forced myself to seek out anime hoping I'd find something good, and I've never forced myself to try to find someone romantically. As a stoic badass, I have never been in love personally, but I can speak to the most profound media experiences of my life. What made me fall in love with anime in the first place never came from seeking out something I'd like. It came from Kill la Kill being on at my friend's house, and me being so curious about it, I'm sure for very normal reasons. It came from bizarrely stumbling across Higurashi, having no idea where the story was going, and soaring through the roller coaster of a tale which I worry I may find considerably less enthralling now that I've read Higurashi and tasted Peak. I guess I just miss when things were natural. I think the strongest connections people make with shows tend to be from when they were younger and didn't even totally know the context of what they were watching. People often credit things that happened to come on Cartoon Network late at night that they always wanted to stick around for as what first made them fall in love with the medium. That natural love that's just stumbled upon, the type of interest that develops organically. I've felt it less and less as I've seen more anime, and my expectations have grown higher and higher in terms of what good anime looks like to me personally. And I feel that same sense of disingenuousness swiping my way through the entire state's female population over the course of one long shit. Dating apps are an issue of probability. You don't know that much about any of these people based on what little you have to go off of, so it's unwise to take chances. You end up putting people you don't even know into boxes, and that feels really crappy. On top of this, dating apps are really frustrating and terrible for most people's self-esteem. I really think the only reason people use them outside of validation is because they feel like they need to scramble to find somebody. Everyone I've talked to about dating apps who uses them unanimously agrees they suck. I'm sure they work for some people, but what I see is a lot of people who are afraid of being alone. We're only young for so long. We're told to enjoy it, and we all want to have experiences with other people. In a dating culture that's as stupidly marketplacey and superficial as ours, at least I can feel that if I don't act while I'm young, I'll miss out on being able to have relationships with people. Young love is incredibly romanticized. Hell, look at any romance anime. I feel that it hurts to know we may be leaving that behind, yet the more we seek out this romanticized romance, the more certain we feel that something isn't quite right. Love is organic, and is a powerful force capable of breaking down barriers and expectations of how something ought to be. It can't be bought and sold or traded for in some marketplace, unless it's monogatari. It's something that often takes time to cultivate. But while I'm rushing myself trying to watch every anime before 2025 and trying to get a girlfriend before I'm senile, I know I don't have time to waste on seeing if something incredible sprouts out of nowhere in a show that I'm not enjoying. Maybe it's just depressing knowing all of the potential matches I've left behind, or maybe I'm just bitter that I'll never feel the same magic I felt when I found my first love, which was Kill la Kill. I'm comically unsuccessful in dating. I'd like to briefly mention one of my top 5 anime of all time, Kare Kano. I usually feel a disconnect with romance anime, finding them to lack tension and progress, but not judging a book by its cover, I said fluff it and gave this show a shot. I had no expectations walking in, but I unexpectedly had a great time with it and haven't stopped thinking about how peak it is ever since. Going through certain areas in life without expectations and something developing out of it organically is undoubtedly one of the healthiest and most satisfying ways to start a relationship. But sometimes I and many others can become too focused on the finish line, crash out into the wall, and explode trying to do a shortcut. It's not all doom and gloom though. I've actually seen some anime that I absolutely love recently. Frieren, Chainsaw Man, Eizouken, these are all modern hood classics. Ironically, these were literally all of the ones I watched before going on my completionist grind set, but I'm trying to learn not to be in such a rush to find my dream partner or my dream anime, as I think it's better to smell the roses. Basically, what I want to make clear in this video is that I'm single as fuck. If you're a cute clown girl, hit me up. Special thanks to B, Sumgoon, Funky Boy Haas, Trey, Hermit's Nook, Karta, and Artemis Locke for all the support on Patreon. It means more than you guys know. Have a good day, everyone, and subscribe if you like the video.